everyone, and welcome again. Today I thought that I would tie a Finalizing fly that's called Dee Sheep. I have my little book here to the right, and I have had a little bit of luck with this fly in northern Norway a few years back. And I tried, I thought that I would tie a quite small one, micro series, but a little bit bigger, maybe 4 or 5 centimeters, but just on extra small tubing in hot magma yellow. So the first thing we do when we tie this small fly is we burn a color at the end here and try to get it pretty even. And then we wait a few seconds. This one we fish with loose hooks. And now it has dried, so I just put it on my needle here. And I've decided to tie with a black 12-0 for Dean Fly's thread, because there will be a black top wing. So I just start with attaching the thread here. And on the original microflies there's just the wings and hackles, but on this one I will put on a little bit of hot magma yellow SSS dubbing, just to get some more color to this little body, if you can call it that. And I will try this one on the spring sea trouts. So let's see how that goes. A little bit more, just to get some glitter under the fly. I don't think that there are so many fishing with these flies in my home river right now, so I thought that I would show them something else and hope for the best. Like that, and then we just brush this a little bit so the strands come out and it gets a little bit more flashy underneath. So the fly is nice and visible. And now I will start with a yellow wing, which is going to be the fattest wing of the two wings on this fly. So I take away all the fluffy part. Maybe this is a little too much, so I take away some. But I want it to be fatter than the salmon fly in this size. So I pull in the middle, as I always do, to get this little taper. Like this. And this one I tie on pretty wide. Hold it with my left hand, press with my thumb to get it to spread a little bit. And then a loose turn and pull down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 hard turns. And then we check so it's down on the side as much as we want to. I think it looks quite good. So now I just cut off the excess. Tomorrow me and my friend Danne Andersson is going down to our home river to try to catch some silvery sea trout. And I need a few flies that hasn't been fished down there yet to try and trick them, because they have seen many flies. And in between these wings I will take some strands of hot magma yellow to get it a little more glittery and nice. There's a lot of fluorescence in the yellow strands. And spread it on top of the wing. A little bit down on my side. And it looks good, I think. And these are cut off a little bit longer than the yellow wing. In different length, of course. If you don't cut them off in different length, they will stick together. And if they have different length, it's more likely that they will swim by themselves, which is something that we want them to do. And now just a thin black top wing. Or we can put the hackle on first. Or the black wing. I think that I will put on a thin black wing. So it gets to be 3 wings anyways. Because sea trouts are pretty hungry right now. So I make this one a little bit bigger, and then the last one gets to be thin and just on top. And this is much less hair than the first wing. So I just make a little taper on this too. And tie it in on top, and just a little bit longer than the yellow part. And with my thumb to get it down on the sides, loose turn again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And as always, we want to get the wings on top of each other when we tie them in. And this landed good. So I will keep it there. And then we'll cut away the waist here too. And now I will put on 2 jungle cocks on this fly. Pretty small, but I want them quite long to be seen behind the hackle. So start with the first one. Tie it in on my side. And a few loose turns. First one looks good. See if the second one goes as well as the first one. Tilt your vise a little bit, and then I put my index finger on to check that the length is the same. And then I tie it in on the other side. Quite loose turns as well. And this one needs to come down a bit, so just pull it down like that. And then I check and the length is good. Now I will use some glue to attach the wings and the jungle cock. So I put a little bit of glue on the thread. And I wind that on, and I try to wind it on top of each other, so I don't wind it forward or to the back. I want to get up a little bit. Like that. Now this should attach the wings and the jungle cocks good. And now I will put on a blue hackle. I think this fly is about 5 centimeters, so it's a rather big one, but it's small for the season. And now I will cover this ugly part with a hackle, and then we're going to end with a thin black wing on top. And I don't think that the fish in my river has seen this fly. So I hope that it attracts a little interest. As close as you can to the wing. Pull all the fibers back on one side of the stem. And then work your way slowly forward. And I want to use a little bit of this fluffy part to get it soft and swimming. So it moves nice even if I fish it in slower water. But now it broke as always. It's my area of expertise, breaking stems. We have a lot of water in the river right now because of all the snow that has melted and the rain. Tomorrow it's supposed to rain, but it's not gonna start until the afternoon, so I will start to fish quite early. We will have 3 degrees Celsius, so it's gonna be a little bit warmer than the other days, which is, I think, is really good for the fish. They get a little more active. Like this. And then we lock it in. Hold back the fibers. 1, 2. Oh, now the thread broke. I will hold on to this and see if I can find. I have an old. What the hell? An old hackle plier here. So just grab a hold of the tying thread with that one and we should be okay. So just re-thread the bobbin holder, cut off so the line is straight and nice, and then thumb and index finger, put it in the hole and then just suck, and here we have it. This could be a little bit tricky, but I will try to get the thread on the same spot so I don't ruin the fly. I think that's enough for now. And then we cut off the threads and the stem and the thread of the one that broke. I think we succeeded. Now I will comb out the blue hackle to untangle it and have a look if it's a nice spread all around the fly. And it looks pretty good. And in this stage I usually put the brush through the wing as well. And now we will put on a thin black longer wing than the first one to get a good taper. And I think this is already tapered good. Pull away the shorter strands, and I want this to land in the middle. I have something here that I need to cut away like this. And now let's see. Yeah, that's good length. And now we'll have to be careful so I don't tie it in too long forward or too long to the back. And it landed in the middle, which I wanted to. And cut this off. Tidy up a bit. And then we comb through this wing to see that it sits where it's supposed to. I think it looks really good. Jungle cock is a little low, so I just pull it up like that. Yeah, it looks pretty good. We'll fish it tomorrow and see what the sea trout thinks. And now I will put on a black nickel turbo tungsten cone head, and here we will put on some glue on the thread, so we fixate the last wing, and so that the cone head has something to grab onto as well. And here we take Bauer's pike tube, hold with the fingers behind, press this down like this, and look, so the hackle comes and touches the cone head. Then we know we have done it right. No thread seen. So here is my little Dee Sheep. And it looks pretty good. A few of the angel hairs was a little bit too long on one side. And pull it down to the middle. Like this. And then we cut off the tubing. A few millimeters from the turbo tungsten cone head. And then we melt it down, as we always do. This will always also help to hold the cone head in place. And that's a very small hole, so I will take Bauer's dubbing needle to create the hole, so the hole gets a little bit bigger. And here it is. Can't find a hole. The hole on this side. Nope. Here it is. There we go. And this is a Dee Sheep. And the jungle cock is seen nicely behind the blue hackle. And I put on one top wing to divide it, and I think that the yellow is nice underneath here. And now I will tie a small body to this fly. The first thing you can do is just put your fly on the leader, and then after your fly you put on a little bit of hot magma yellow, or which color you want, down on your leader too, and then after that you tie on the hook, and then you just pull in the hook and the knot in the medium tubing, so it's gonna look something like this. And when I fish for sea trout, I want the hook to be quite a bit back. And if you want this to be even more visible and fluffy, I take a medium tube, and then I just melt a little bit of color, and then I put it on. I take some mirage tinsel, and I need some tying thread for this. The scissors, there we go. Two strands, I only need one. And then I put on the mirage tinsel first. A little bit behind the thread, so the black thread is not seen underneath. Save a few millimeters for the hook guy. And then I tie it in. And this is a body that will swim loose behind the fly. And I will take some Alta Gold ribbing, and then I will just make a flashy little body to make the fly more visible. And now I fill this up with hot magma yellow dubbing. Usually I mix it with a little bit of glitz, but now just to show you a little faster how easy it's done, I don't mix the dubbings. And if you want it even more flashy and longer strands, you can use only glitz, of course. And like this, tie a few turns in front, and then I go in with the ribbing. And in this case I put on the ribbing because the ribbing helps the durability of the body. It gets a lot more durable when you put on ribbing. Just lock it in as usual. Pull it a little bit, and then I fold it back, and then a few turns, cut away the ribbing, and then your brush, and we brush it out. Here's another way. So I have to glue the head first, otherwise it won't work at all. It will break directly. So a little more glue on the thread than I usually take, because this is going to be a little thread head. Hold away the strands from the SSS dubbing, and we make a glued head here, like this, and wait until it has dried. That's okay. And then I cut it off, if I can get it out of the tying needle. Cut it off very close, and then I use my lighter again to melt that one down also. And now we put on the fly on the leader first, and then after the fly we put on the little body we tied, and then after that we tie on the hook, and we put the hook into the little body that we tied, and then we can mix and match with different bodies. And the reason I burnt a little color here on the back side is that the hook sits much better if you do that. So this one will look a little bit like this, with this hook on. body. Like this. And of course you can make this how short and how long that you want to. But since I'm hunting for sea trouts, I want it to be quite long back. This is maybe a little bit too long, but I think it's gonna be nice. And I think you understand how I mean with the loose hanging bodies, and just after you put on your fly, you put these on and then tie on the hook. So tomorrow's gonna be exciting. A Dee Sheep for spring trout. I don't know, but I don't think there are so many people fishing those for spring trout. So thank you guys for watching, and here it is. And if you want to follow my YouTube channel, I would be very happy. Just click the photograph here of me, or if you want to see another film that I've tied, another fly that I've tied on another film, just click here. And I will see you soon again, and as we say in Sverige, skitfiske tomorrow. This means shitty fishing. Goodbye, see you soon.